Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 5, episode 11. Let's get into it. Y'all. So we're going to get a little spicy before we get into this review. So if you don't know, the Miami girls filmed their reunion, I think either earlier this week. And a lot of things have been coming out about it. We got the seating chart, which that's what I'm here to talk about in this spicy corner. But we also got a little something about how Andy said he actually had to raise his voice at Larsa. So, Larsa was probably doing a lot. But we also found out that some of the ladies had an issue with the way the seating chart went. We just don't know who. It was pretty much like a blind item. One of the blog pages just threw it out there. And so here's the seating chart. You have Andy in the middle, like he always is in the middle. But then you have Nicole on the right side, Julia, Adriana, and then Gertie. And then on the left-hand side, you have Lisa, Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, and my girl Kiki. So justice for Kiki. So here's the thing for me. I don't have a problem with the left side of the couch. I think it should be Lisa, Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, and then Kiki. That makes sense to me. That progression makes sense to me. On the right-hand side, I have an issue. I do think Nicole should be first chair, but I don't understand why Julia is second chair right beside her, and then Adriana, and then Gertie. I think Gertie should be sitting where Julia is, because honestly, Julia's whole storyline fell flat after a while, and she didn't really add anything. She only had one fight with somebody, and that was with, what's her name? With Alexia and the whole prostitution comment. And that's it. Gertie had maybe 3 or 4 episodes where she had beef with Alexia. So why is she not sitting beside Nicole? So like I said, there were some of the women who had issues with where they were placed. I could see Gertie having an issue, but not voicing it. But I could also see Alexia having an issue and pretty much voicing it, because Alexia showed this episode that she full of herself. But that's just me. I just feel like Gertie should be sitting where Julia is sitting. But that's the seating chart. Let me know what y'all think. So let's get into this. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up where it left off, where we're still at Nicole and Anthony's engagement party. And it opens up right at the end of what last week's episode ended with, where Nicole is in Alexia's face basically saying, until you have somebody jeopardize your career that you've worked 20 years for, and it's someone that has not worked as hard as you, then come talk to me. So Nicole is upset, and it's understandable, because she feels like the ladies are not understanding the seriousness of what Larsa said and how it could affect her. But she also can't believe that they're just blindly backing Larsa. So Nicole's just like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this. And she walks away. She bumps into Adriana, and Adriana's like, girl, what's going on? And she's like, girl, they out there defending Larsa. And you already know Adriana don't like Larsa. So she's already like, So everyone's just sitting down, while Nicole runs off. She ends up changing. And I don't understand why she had on this white outfit and not this outfit the whole entire. Now, this outfit right here was way better than that white outfit. She looked way better in this outfit. She was kind of upset with Marisol wearing white, but Marisol's white outfit looked better than Nicole's white outfit. Now, if Marisol had on this outfit and met Nicole in this outfit, I'd have been like, Nicole, don't even be mad, because you killing it. She looked beautiful in this. I don't understand. Whoever told you to wear that other outfit, fire them, because this right here is cute, girl. She looked expensive. She looked cute. You could tell she felt sexy in it. I was like, girl, should have been the main outfit you wore. Also, y'all know I told y'all Nicole is growing on me. I need her to do something else with her hair. I need her to do something else with her hair. This shortcut, it's starting to give me Lisa Rinna vibes. And when I say that, it's just Lisa Rinna, after a while, her wearing that hairstyle, it became weird when we would see her in other hairstyles. That when I see Nicole in other hairstyles, I'm just kind of that's not cute on you. That updo she had in her first white outfit was not very it didn't add anything. I was like, that's kind of basic. Then we had her wear those extensions, and then the person didn't put them in right, or maybe she put them in and you could see the line of demarcation to where her hair is versus her extensions. And she made too much money to not have her extensions look right. So I'm just kind of I need her to do something else different. I wish she would go back to brown hair because I feel like she probably looks way prettier with brown hair. Like, no offense, y'all, because, I am of a darker hue. But to my, like, my light people, my less melanated people, y'all got to stop wearing hair colors that is the exact same color of your skin. I don't know why y'all do that because it washes you out. I like Giselle, and sometimes Robin, but mainly Giselle. I get tired of seeing Giselle with this honey blonde hair because I feel like if her hair was darker or a lighter brown, she would be way more prettier to me. Because Giselle is pretty, but darker colors make like what's the word? It highlights other features in your face. Sometimes when your hair is the same color as your skin, you look the same. If that makes sense. It probably don't make sense, but it makes sense to me in my head. So she steps out. Nicole doesn't even sit down with the ladies anymore. She goes and enjoy her party as she should, because I know they probably playing a good grip for it. Because you had somebody twirling in the ceiling. They have dancers, people doing the whip it shots. Enjoy your party and enjoy your real friends and your good company. So while that's happening, Lisa pops up and we see her sit down and like greet the ladies. She's kind of feeling some type of way because she's happy for Nicole, but she's also kind of just like, she's in a weird spot because she realized she's not there anymore with Lenny and is probably never going to go back to that. So she just doesn't know, like, she's just weird. It's weird, you know what I'm saying? So she sits down with the ladies. They're like eating the hors d'oeuvres, and you hear Alexia ask Lisa, like, have you seen Nicole? Like, have you seen Lenny? And she was like, yo. And so Lisa drops tea on them about her situation with Lenny. Pretty much Lenny, like Lisa sets up a play date for Lenny's parents, Lenny, and the kids. He gets mad at his mom because the mom is pretty much defending Lisa, saying like, why are you disrespecting her? Why are you doing this to your family? Why are you breaking up your family for this other woman? Like, why are you doing this? He tells his mom pretty much to F off and he don't ever want to see them again. And he did this in front of the kids. She also lets the ladies know that Lenny served her divorce papers, and everyone is just like, Lisa, good God. Wow. She then explains that, like, Logan is having a hard time because he's old enough to understand what's happening to a certain extent, where he's like, I don't like that you guys aren't like this anymore. I want y'all to be like this, but y'all are like this. Like, so he sees that there is a separation between his mom and his dad, and it's hard for him to process it. So all the ladies are feeling bad, but they're telling Lisa, like, you doing the right thing. Like, we're here to support you. You're going to be okay in the end. So we then see Adriana and her date sit down, and you could already tell that he was with it. He came to have fun that night. He was with it. So he sits down, he has a drink, and he's like, let's do a toast. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So they do the toast, and he's like, let's toast to people not spreading false truths or like, or spreading rumors or something like that, or giving out false information or stuff like that. And Alexia is like, in this group, that will never happen. So they're like, you could already tell that something was about to pop off against them. So they're like, okay, bro, what's up? So then he's like, yeah, he goes into his whole thing. Is like, well, y'all out here telling people that I'm married and I'm not married. So then Marisol chimes in and she's like, well, that's what I've heard. I don't know you, and we know how men are. And I was like, yeah, because men are trash. Let's call it thing a thing. Y'all be having whole other families on the other side of the county. Like, we know how y'all be rolling. So she was like, that's what I heard, And then all of a sudden he pulls out his, I guess, divorce decree or divorce documents to prove that he actually is divorced. So they go back and forth and they're trying to have a discussion. Then he directs his frustrations towards Alexia, and she was like, well, that's what I heard. I heard that you were divorced. He was like, I can prove that I'm not divorced. And she was like, okay, let me see. He was like, can you read? And everyone's like, whoa. Even Gertie was like, whoa, bro, whoa. And so he gives the he gives the paperwork. Like, no, Adriana hands the paperwork to Alexia. Alexia's like, bro, I'll wipe my butt with this. Because now she's pissed because he's like, he was disrespectful. So she's like, I'm a woman. Don't ever disrespect me like that. So they start going back and forth, arguing back and forth. Alexia pulls out her phone to, like, I guess the website of the county of Miami County and tries to, like, you know, shows him it, saying that it says he is still legally, like, married. And Adriana's like, he's mad because you're slandering his name. And they're going back and forth. Now, I saw people had different vibes with this. Some people felt like the guy was really disrespectful, even though a lot of people feel like Alexia is wrong. Other people felt like, well, no, she out here running her mouth. And I'm kind of split. On one hand, I understand him being like, sis, you're a liar. You're out here disrespecting me. You're going around saying that I'm a married man and I know I'm not married. Like, I have the paperwork to prove that I'm not. But I also understand people being like, well, if he can get that riled up with Alexia, who he don't really even know, then Adriana should probably be careful. But I understand him being frustrated because it's like, and once we find out that she didn't even scroll down to see that she was wrong, then I get why that man was hot. I get why that man was hot. I was just like, ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. So Alexia's like, you know what? Whatever. I'm out because I'm about to pop him in his mouth because the guy and her started going back and forth. And then Marisol was trying to tell Alexia, like, girl, maybe it just wasn't updated yet. Like, maybe you were wrong. He has the paperwork here. And then Alexia gets mad at Marisol, where Alexia's like, really, Marisol? Which I was happy Marisol was like, girl, you might be wrong. Like, she didn't say she was wrong, but she was like, girl, you might be wrong. Like, you might be wrong. He got the paperwork here. You might be wrong. So Alexia gets up, she leaves with her friend. Then you see Adriana talking to Marisol being like, why is she being like this? And like Marisol said, like, sis, she a grown woman. I don't control her mind. I didn't even know this was going to be the energy she was on. That's on her. Me and her not the same. And then the party ends right there. So the next couple of scenes we have is of Alexia inviting everyone to her place, where she's going to have 2 lawyers come over so they can ask them like about legal counsel. And she's saying this to like be like an aid to Lisa, because it doesn't seem like Lisa is doing anything. But then again, this is all happening within like a month. So she's probably still like overwhelmed at this point. But they want to but she wants to help her out. But I also feel like Alexia is doing this because she wants to like one up Adriana, because at this moment she still feels like she was justified in what she did about letting Adriana know that that man was still married. We then have a scene where we see Larsa is at her house with her friend that we've been seeing a lot. And we see Larsa taking pictures of her feet. And her friend was like, how much do you make off of that? She said $40,000. Bro, if I could make $40,000 with just taking pictures of my feet, I'm not knocking your hustle. I'm not knocking I can't knock that type of hustle. Like, when I learned about the whole like sniffing kind of thing where people sell underwear or bras or socks and stuff, and I remember doing research on it, and like this one lady makes like 6 figures off of just selling her bras and underwear. I can't knock that. I cannot knock that. Like, you don't got to touch nobody. You just got to wear it and send it. Same with Larsa. She doesn't have to touch anyone. She's in the comfort of her own home, filming her feet rubbing together. Do you, sis? And making $40K off of it. Do you? So her friend is asking her about the whole Nicole situation. And Larsa's pretty much like, she judged me before she even knew me. And what I said was like, girl, I've heard you slept with everybody. And like in the hospital. And her friend was like, what do you mean? And she was like, basically, I got DMs. Marisol got DMs. But someone told us that she was out here, out here in these streets. And her friend was like, pretty much just kind of like blindly supporting Larsa. But Larsa even said in her green screen, she was like, I used to be a people pleaser. I'm not that anymore. I took a lot of flack when I left Scotty. She was like, I go below the belt, so you probably shouldn't mess with me. And in some regard, I kind of understand Larsa a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because it is a lot to be in the public eye. Excuse me, y'all. It is a lot to be in the public eye. It's also a lot for people to already have these preconceived notions about you and how you move, that I can understand Larsa being angry or frustrated. But in all regards, there was no need to like throw that grenade at Nicole at that moment, because they were having a civil conversation at that fundraiser event at that boutique, that there was no reason for you to be like, well, I heard you was out here hoeing. It was no reason for that. There was no reason for that. And even when it like, and the thing about it is like, I look people up. I may not do like Google searches, but if I'm hanging out with a group of friends and they're like, oh, so-and-so is coming, and I'm like, oh, like, who is that? I'll probably try to search you on Instagram, or try to see if I seen, like, to know if I seen your face before or stuff like that. So it's just kind of like, everybody does that. So I just think Larsa is being sensitive, but I also feel like Larsa has not let go about what happened last season with Nicole, because even at the reunion, I don't even think that they came to a resolution. It was just like, I like Nene and Candy. I see you, you see me. Like it was just that. That's what it was. We then have a scene of Nicole and her friend, who's a therapist. They flash back and we find out that she used to be Johanna's therapist. I better never see Johanna on this show. I better never see her on this show. When I tell you, y'all know I don't see it for Adriana, but when Adriana popped her in the mouth when they were at that party at Lenny and Lisa's house, that lingerie party that they always be showing footage of from back in the day, I was 10 toes down with Adriana, because she told Johanna, get away from me. She said it like, I think at least 2 or 3 times, and then that girl followed behind her like a Karen, and when Adriana turned around and went, whoa, I said, girl, do what you got to do, because she done told you, lady, to back up off of her. And then, oh my gosh, she was just so insufferable. Her and her sister, and slightly that man. Because even though I believed he was cheating on her, her sister was just doing a lot. The 3 of them were just annoying. And I know she's not together with him. I know he's married to another woman. She's married to another man. But I don't never want to see them on my TV screen. So Nicole sits down with her therapist friend and they start talking about her dad. And in this conversation, the therapist was like, well, how did it go? What about your dad? And she was like, oh, it went fine. You know, he was a little too drunk and having a good time. Like, it was just a little too much. But she was like, well, did he bring the girlfriend? And she was like, no. And the therapist asked a good question where she was like, if that was anybody else's dad, like, would you feel some type of way? She was like, no, I'd probably go get a drink with him. The same way Marisol went and got a drink with him. And I like when the therapist was like, are you still holding him to the same, like, same, like, script when you were younger? Because if he ain't really done nothing now to that extent, you can't keep holding that against him. And then Nicole's face got cracked a little bit when the therapist was like, when Nicole was like, am I the problem? Am I holding on? Like, is it my responsibility to move on from this? And she was like, it kind of is. Like, a little bit it is. And Nicole was like, and I was like, yeah, girl, it is. It is. It is. Because it's like, and I keep saying this, I understand Nicole being angry with her father. I do. I just think if you still want this man in your life, you have to forgive and move on. Now, it would be different if she did not want to incorporate her father into her life and she just wanted to, like, go off into the sunset with just her mom, her husband, and her children and her siblings. I said children, her son and her siblings. But the fact that you keep inviting your father to things, and then you don't let him invite his girlfriend that he's been with and because y'all say he's been together for like 3 or 4 years with her, it's starting to look like you slightly are the problem, because it's like you're still inviting him around. Stop inviting him around. But you want him around. So it's like, if you want him around, you can't keep using him as like a punching bag because you're still angry. Like, I guess I have learned as I've gotten older is that you can forgive someone and still not be cool with them. Like, I think when I was younger, I always had this mindset of like, you're supposed to forgive and forget and move on and build a new relationship. But I've understand now that like you can forgive someone and still just not fool with them. Like, you know, love them from afar, support them from like, you know, in passing, or if you don't want to. And I feel like Nicole still wants a relationship with her father, but she's still holding on to a grudge. And it's like, you can't keep doing that if you're going to keep bringing him around. I feel like if he wasn't around, grudge it out, girl. Grudge it out until it's time for you to go take that eternal sleep. But you keep inviting him to things. You keep inviting him to things. And it seemed like he was on his like somewhat best behavior at the party. So there might be a little bit of growth. And like the therapist said, like give him points for that. Because he could have acted a complete total fool. But he didn't. He didn't. He did. So we then have a scene of everyone pretty much getting ready to go to Adriana's party. I will say, I think this was before everything. When we saw Gertie with her son, she is such like a black mom or a Haitian mom, because she is Haitian, but I'm not Haitian, so I just say black mom, because her son is sitting on the kitchen table, like I guess deciphering or like organizing his Legos, and she's making tacos, and she's like, what do you want on your plate? And he's telling her, and she was like, you want some rice? He was like, nah, I'm good on rice. She was like, no, you want rice. You want rice. You need some rice. And I was like, well, he just told you he ain't want no rice, lady. And I was like, that's what a black mom would do. You want some green beans? I'm good on green beans, but I'm gonna put a little on your plate because you need a little bit of green in your diet. Like, lady, don't ask me what I want and then don't give it to me. Like, just like, what? I was like, that's such a black mom. It's like, well, then why'd you ask me? Were you asking me just to be like courteous, but you still gonna do what you want to do? It was funny. All right, it was funny, y'all. So everybody is getting ready for the party, or the ain't really a party, the lunch or like get together. And y'all know, I don't understand why Julia had that cat food in that tub. I know her house is an animal house. Like, Julia gives that she let her animals on the counter. She gives that. That's why I would never eat anything from that lady's house unless it was catered. I wouldn't. She lets them animals on the counter. Oh my goodness. Because I was like, why is that cat in the tub? That's where you wash your body. I don't care that cats clean themselves. There's still saliva and spit. It's not soap and water. So the first two people that show up to Alexia's house is Nicole and Marisol. They're hugging. We end up finding out that Alexia's stupid self, because Alexia is dumb, bro. Alexia is dumb. Found out that man is really divorced, that the online decree that she saw, she didn't scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page that I guess that stated that he was divorced. I said, girl, I know you feel stupid. I know you feel stupid. Oh, I know you feel stupid. I would never have admitted this on camera. Like, the embarrassment. Like, are you not embarrassed? Embarrassing. Girl, I would never admit that on camera. I would have Adriana tell me, and then I would just cop to it and be like, you know what, I'm sorry. You know, maybe I misread the paperwork, but what I saw said that he was still married. I was just trying to look out for you, sis, but my bad. But I would never admit that I didn't scroll all the way down to the page. Girl, you look stupid. You look stupid. So next thing you know, Larsa gets there. Larsa and Nicole pretty much are ignoring each other. You see Marisol trying to get them to like say hello to each other, or at least acknowledge each other's presence. You got Nicole doing her makeup. She tries to say hi to Nicole. I think Nicole tries to say hi to Larsa. Larsa continues to ignore her. Then as things go on, we see everyone pull up. We see Julia come. Julia feels some type of way because I guess Alexia was explaining to Larsa and Nicole what Adriana's partner was doing, like the guy that her date was doing, like how disrespectful he was and how much Alexia felt like he was being an asshole. So they're like, oh my goodness, for real? And as that's happening, Julia pulls up, and Julia feels some type of way that no one greeted her. But I'm like, girl, when you're late to the party, you know we're going to be talking about this. You know what time it is when y'all film. Then Adriana pulls up. They all decide to sit down at the table because they find out that Lisa and Kiki are going to be late. So they're sitting down at the table, and they start talking about Lisa's divorce. And Larsa is saying, like, you know, I feel like I've gained like 5 pounds. Every time Lisa calls me and tells me what's going on, I stress eat pretty much because she's worried about her friend. And she also says that, you know, I asked my son, I asked Scotty, I think she said he's like 19. Like, was it good for us to divorce when, y'all were this age versus y'all being younger. And he was like, it's better when you're younger because there's no social media. And sometimes I get annoyed when reality stars say like, oh my God, my kids will see this. And it's like, how old are your kids? Like when you think about like Lisa and Lenny's kids, like they're like 6 and maybe 3 or 2, 6 and 2. So like they don't have access to that. They just know what's going on in their household versus like Larsa's kids, who I think her daughter is like 14 or 15. So she obviously probably has like an Instagram, a TikTok, or a Snapchat or whatever. So she probably knows what's going on, or they're old enough to see the disparaging things people have been saying about them. So that made sense to me. And I was like, yeah, it probably is easier when you're younger because ignorance is bliss. Like you don't know what's going on. So they start sitting at the table. You then have Julia explain this story about how her kids would come home crying when they were living in France. And I don't know how, but people are making fun of her kids for having 2 moms and then being lesbians. So Julia was talking about how she took Martina and they end up kissing in the middle of France to show their love to everybody. Then Alexia like someone said, it got to be nothing but air between Alexia's head. There, like, the lights is on, but ain't nobody in the house. Because I don't know how she made these two things correlate, where she was like, I was really disappointed in you, Julia, because the way you feel about women, and you didn't stick up for me. You didn't stick up for me when that man was disrespecting me and you were sitting right next to him. She was talking about she was talking about Adriana. Alexia was talking about Adriana's date. And Julia was like, well, I didn't think he was disrespectful. And I'm like, well, if she didn't think he was disrespectful, why would she defend you? And so then Adriana chimes in, and you got Marisol in her confessional talking about, I be thinking we gonna have good times at these events, but we never do. Like, I'm stupid for thinking that. So they start going back and forth arguing. Alexia getting loud, Adriana's getting loud, where she's just like, girl, like Adriana was like, you were out here disrespecting him as his character, questioning his character. And she was like, no, he was a total dick. Like, Alexia's going off. She was like, they start speaking in Spanish. I'm trying to read subtitles because she's just like, girl, whatever in Spanish. They both yelling at each other. And I'm like, Nicole was in her green screen like, sis, you didn't read it all the way down. Like, there's no point for you to defend yourself. Because in this moment, Alexia pretty much says, I know he's divorced. Like, she just throws it out there. I know he was divorced, but he was mad disrespectful to me. So then Adriana, and y'all know I don't see it for her, but I gave her this because she was well within her right to go off on Alexia, where she was like, you disrespected me. I deserve an apology. You went around saying that I was married, like I was dating a married man when I was not, when I have paperwork to prove that he wasn't married. You got me out here questioning myself, and I would never date a married man. And Alexia is just sitting there head bobbing. And I'm like, girl, just apologize. Just apologize. You can still be mad that he was nasty towards you, but you can still apologize to your friend because you was mad wrong. So like, I was there y'all know I don't like Adriana like that. But in this moment, she was telling nothing but the truth. Like, sis, she got Larsa together. Not Larsa. She got Alexia together. Cause she was like, he asked me if I could read. And then Adriana was like, your eyes, we all have 50-year-old eyes, ma'am. It was dark in there. I said, Adriana, you're lying. That man was being a dick towards her. He was in his right to be a dick. But girl, don't be trying to say it's because y'all got 50-year-old eyes. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I was with Adriana. Like, y'all been going around saying, more so Alexia, that she's been out here with a married man. And then we find out that he's not married because you didn't do your due diligence and scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. And now you can't be an adult enough and just apologize. The cuss out you got from her, it was deserved, sis. It was deserved. So then the conversation shifts over to Nicole and Larsa, because Nicole chimes in and she's basically like, maybe it's the intent, because I think from Nicole's point of view, she was like, I think they weren't coming from a malicious place. I think the way that they did it was wrong. And she's saying this to Adriana. She was like, but I think they were really trying to like look out for you in a sense. But then she said, not what Larsa did. And basically Nicole was like, what you did was malicious. It was malice. You didn't have no weight. So then Larsa and Nicole start going back at it. Now, one thing I'll give Larsa, because I've done this, in an argument because Nicole was getting loud, and then Larsa said, I could get loud too. I said, I've done that. I've done that. So I kind of was like, I get it. I live a little bit. So then Kiki sitting on the side like, my God, today. And I said, girl, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. She was like, she did the prayer cry. I said, it's okay, bro. It's okay. It's okay. So, Nicole is like, show me the receipts. Show me the receipts. And Larsa's like, I've got DMs. Marisol got DMs. Like we all got DMs. But she was like, show me. And Larsa wouldn't show her. So then Nicole's like, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. And they're all yelling all the while the lawyer comes in. And it's two of them. They looked like their eyes was so big. Then you got Frankie at the top of the stairs like, why they so loud? Making fun of them because he's like, y'all is loud. Why are y'all yelling? Like, I was like, Frankie was just like, I don't know why they tickled me. And then I know he was asking production, like, what is going on? Why are they so loud? Like, I'm trying to watch TV, play my little video games. Calm down, ladies. So you got Adriana knocking the glass to get everyone to calm down. Because then Lisa comes in and Lisa's like, well, this is a much needed distraction with the mess that I'm dealing with. So then they sit down and start asking the lawyer the questions. So I don't know what happened, y'all, but I lost this footage of me talking about this part of the episode. So the ladies sit down to have their conversation with the lawyer, and Julia is the first one to ask questions, and she mainly is asking about the Don't Say Gay bill and how that will affect the gay community for people who would like to adopt children. And the lawyer is like, it shouldn't affect you in any way possible like that. So then everyone's like, oh my gosh, y'all are adopting. But Julia doesn't want to cop to that because she feels like she can't share this happy news in the presence of Larsa. I'm like, Julia, get over it. Get over it. She didn't lie about you kissing another man. You actually agree, like confirm the fact that you was doing that. In my opinion, don't be sloppy. If you're married and you out here either cheating or you and your spouse have an open relationship that the public doesn't know about, then learn how to conceal it. So get over yourself. I just don't like Julia. I can't. So then Nicole asks a question. She's just like, what acts about defamation of character as it pertains to Larsa's rumors. So then Alexia gets upset and frustrated where she's like, you have a husband who's a lawyer. Why don't you ask him? Why are you wasting my lawyer's time? I'm paying between $500 to $700 for us to have this conversation. And Nicole's like, girl, whatever. So she gets up, goes to her purse, pulls out her credit card, gives it to the man and was like, I'll pay you for your time. So answer my question. And I felt two ways of this. Part of me was like, girl, put your dick on the table. Let them girls know you use a rich one. Use a rich girl. I will pay for your time and services. The other part of me was like, that was slightly tacky, only because the lawyer didn't seem enthused or impressed. Neither did the female lawyer. They both kind of look like, what is going on? What is this circus? Like they were kind of put off on it. And so they all start arguing. Everyone's telling her to sit down. Alexia calls Nicole stupid, which like basically saying she wasn't smart. And I'm like, she is a doctor. What are you other than a drug dealer's ex-wife? And now somebody's new wife. Then you have then Marisol stands up and she like shows that she has proof that like of the information that was given to her, saying like, this is the DM that was given to us that said that you were out here sleeping with people in the hospital. The DM basically said that Nicole, while she was married, was having an affair or she was sleeping with another resident. And Nicole basically confirmed that that was true. It was just that Larsa put 20 on 10 because Nicole was like, her and her husband were together for 12 years. They were basically getting a divorce. And while they were separated, Nicole had decided to have a full-blown relationship with another resident. And then Nicole is like, well, Larsa put an extra spin on it where she said, I was sleeping with everybody in the hospital. So yeah, Larsa was putting gasoline on the fire. And then Nicole's whole thing was like, that DM DM could have been sent to you by Larsa to Marisol. And Larsa's like, girl, I don't have the time to do that. Unlike you, I have businesses. And I was like, Larsa, you sound stupid too, because she is a doctor. She works like 12 to 14-hour shifts, just like you work your jobs. So everybody, like, Nicole and Larsa, not Nicole and Larsa and Alexia just sounded dumb. Then all of a sudden, Nicole started playing the small violin. It didn't make sense to me. They were all arguing back and forth. And that's when Lisa started screaming, telling everyone to shut up, because she was like, this whole situation was for me so I could ask questions, so I could be sure about my options with my divorce. But y'all know, Nicole is growing on me. That move she did, she cleared because they weren't ready for her to slap that credit card on that man's lap. Like, let's go. So before they ask the question, like Lisa gets to ask her questions, we find out that Adriana's man is really divorced. Like, she had the paperwork, she gives it to the lawyer reads it out, and he's like, yo, no, these are real, like, he is divorced. So everyone's like, yay, cheering. And then Alexia's like, but he's still an asshole. And I'm like, Alexia, ma'am, just cop to the fact that you were wrong. And the fact that you can't apologize says a lot about you. That's a character flaw that you need to work on. Cause, like, girl, for real. So that was when the argument was really getting heated, because you had Lisa and you had Nicole, Larsa, and Alexia going at it. And then Adriana and them, they start, like, it was just so much going on. That's why Frankie was like, I was like, girl. So Lisa finally starts to ask her questions, and they actually had good questions that I didn't think about. Like, I wasn't thinking about him. Like, all I could think about was Lenny, like, kicking the kids out and kicking her out and taking the home, but I didn't think about the stuff inside the home. So Marisol asks us, like, what if he tries to give those items, and they were referring to Lisa as Sally, what if he tries to give those items to the new girl? And the lawyer was like, take pictures of everything, have an inventory list. I was like, okay, that's a good idea. Then I think Alexia asked about like a home for the kids, and was saying, like, what if a guy tries to put the home, like, you know, if they could purchase a home and they put it in the trust, like, they would be like, some men are willing to do that because they know everything's going to the kids. And at a certain age, like, the home is no longer, like, the mom, or, like, I guess has to vacate or something like that. Like, once they reach like 18 or 21. And the female lawyer, she was like, yeah, it depends on the person. Like, that's a good idea if you and that person have that relationship. But if you don't have that relationship, it can be tricky, because then you have to vacate once they reach a certain age if they put that in the clause. They also, I think they asked about, like, the living situation, and the lawyer was basically like, you don't really have to move. Like, you don't have to move until it's time for you to, like, until the divorce is, like, finalized, but y'all can still be living in that house while the divorce is taking place. And so then all of a sudden Lisa starts breaking down, because she was like, it's only been a month. And that's why I was like, wow, like, all of this is happening to her in a month. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like, it's only, and like, she was talking about the divorce papers, and I think they even asked early on in the episode, they were like, has he been trying to get back with you since the papers have been served? And she was like, no, he pretty much ignores me, pretty much. So they're all having, like, this conversation. Then Nicole talks about how, you know, she says, like, you know, this is what this is about. Like, we fought all of a sudden, and then now in these past 30 minutes, we're all, like, rallying around Lisa. That is what friendship is about, like, really being there for each other. Then Adriana kind of had to mess it up and be like, well, something, Alexia, you're really not going to apologize to me after you said I was a liar? You're really not going to apologize to me? And then I was with Nicole, like, girl, let it go. Let it go. So Nicole grabs her stuff and she's like, y'all, it's over. It's time to go. Everyone's like, yeah, like it's time to go. It's time to go. Really, I feel like, because I saw a lot of people say Alexia is like Teresa. I don't think Alexia is like Teresa. I really don't. Like, Teresa may be wrong a lot of the times, but Teresa is still, like, likable to an extent. Alexia this season has made herself less likable throughout the whole entire throughout each episode. And with Teresa, if Teresa's gonna say something, 9 times out of 10 is true. 9 times out of 10, well, I'll say 8 times out of 10 is true. Even with that whole rumor situation, I do think Evan be cheating on Jackie. But 8 times out of 10, Teresa be telling the truth. Alexia is just slow. I don't ever think Teresa would. I don't think. I feel like Alexia is more like Ramona. Like Ramona wouldn't apologize either, or even if she did apologize, it would be like the bare minimum. It'd just be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like there would be no like effort into it like that. Like I think we've even seen Teresa slightly apologize with more effort than Ramona. But I feel like Alexia is definitely like Ramona. So the last scene of the episode is Lisa at home with her kids. You can tell they having a hard time. The little boy kind of doesn't seem as lively. Her son doesn't seem as lively as he normally is. You got Ella being a lot more aggressive. She ends up smacking Lisa in the face with her toy. But like she was even like beating up on her brother. So it seems like that's her way of expressing her feelings because she can tell that something isn't right. Like kids do be feeding off of everybody's energy. Like they may not need to be told what is happening, but they're not stupid. They can see and they can feel when things aren't right in their home. Next thing you know, we see Lenny walk in the house. He doesn't even acknowledge Lisa's presence, and they see each other in the house. He just goes directly to the bedroom, and we find out that he's not even living at the house. He just comes after work to like work out or maybe take a nap, grab something, and then he leaves, and I guess it goes to that girl's place or whatever, or the place he paying for that girl. So then Lisa walks into the bedroom, and she's like, I'm Mike. Like she tells him, I'm Mike. She's like giving him that courtesy because she didn't have to do that. And then they're trying to have a conversation, and she's like, why are you being so cold to me? Like you're not even gonna say hi to me? And he's like, I really don't want to speak to you, Lisa. And then he's laying on the bed. And then he sees the camera, and he's like, I don't want to be filmed right now. So they back up, but we can still hear what's going on. And what it sounds like is Lenny is upset because Lisa has brought in the courts, or she's starting to get legal counsel, and he didn't want that. He wanted them to be able to like figure things out on their own. But I was like, how are you going to figure things out on your own and you won't even like acknowledge her presence or be kind to her? He pretty much was like, I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to give you way more than what you deserve, which I was like, that's a lie because you probably deserve a lot more than what he's saying you deserve. And he's just like, yeah, like, I don't want to have this conversation, but now that you want to involve the courts, we can just run that way. Because now things are going to be going to like, now he was pretty much saying like now things are like they're going to be telling us what to do. Then he tried to say like, you know why I'm getting them. It was weird because I feel like he was saying you got them involved, but now he's getting them involved too. Basically, he's trying to kick her out the house, her and the kids, where he was just like, you're not going to leave unless you're told to leave. Pretty much saying like, I would have to get legal like documentation to tell you and the kids have to leave. Or the kids have to leave. Because I feel like he would kick them kids out too. But it might be he will keep them in the house, but Lisa will probably take them because she even asked the lawyer, what can I do for this other party not to be in my kid's life? Because it seems like Lenny wants to move the girlfriend into the house. And she's disgusting to me. That girl is disgusting to me because I'm like, I don't know how you can be cool with someone and then see the way that he is treating this woman. I don't know how, like, because why do you not think he ain't gonna treat you that way when he finds somebody else a lot younger than you or is disposable? Like because he's treating Lisa like she's disposable. So Lenny's trash. Like I told y'all, he is hot, flaming dumpster juice. Dumpster juice. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That's all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.